All right. Hello, friends. Welcome to How to Master SQL DBA with TK. And as you already know, I'm TK himself. All right. If you are new to the channel, again, this is our YouTube page. This is our YouTube page where we paste every video that we have done about SQL, about mastering SQL. So this is what we have done so far, right? If you're new to the channel, we are way ahead right now. So please, you would need to do this part 1, then catch up with what we are doing right now. Okay, so we stopped last time when we did our pre-checks for our installation of SQL Server. So today we are going to do SQL Server installation proper, and we are going to do it on SQL 01 and SQL 02. Yay! So without talking too much, let's go. Okay, let's open our virtual machine. So as you can see, if you're new to the channel again, we are using Hyper-V Manager, and we created 3 different virtual machines: the domain, then SQL 01 and SQL 02. But we are going to be working mostly on SQL 01. We are going to be working mostly on SQL 01 and SQL 02 for these installations. Okay, so we are going to start with SQL 01. So let's go right there. As you can see, there's my domain right there, SQL 01, SQL 02. So let's go. My services are already on, they are running. As you know, I like to be detailed. If yours is not running, you just right click, connect, and connect, and you put in your password, right? America 2025, what we did about, a couple classes back. Okay, so since this is running, is up, then the softwares are where they are supposed to be. So we go to our software location right here on the C drive, and we are going to start with installing SQL 2022. Remember, we are doing the developer edition, because that is what our manager wants. That is what they want for the project. So how do you do the installation? From here, from this location, all you have to do is right click on SQL. No, I take that back. Double click on it. Once you double click on it, now you have this option right here. Now we can right click on SQL. Still no? Okay, that is fine. Double click on it again. Yes, we are where we want to be. Now go down to where it says setup. That is what we are looking for. You see where it says setup? Now right click on it, right click, and go to where it says run as administrator. Click that. And remember, you are the administrator. That is why we gave Shiloti those elevated privileges, right? Because of things like this, because with that they can install and they can do a lot of things. All right, now we are here for the installation. What do we want to do? Because you see all this information right here, right? A lot of information right here. So what do we want to do? So we obviously want to install. But just for a quick reference, you can also do maintenance. There are tools that you can download. There are more options, but we want to do installation. So you can download this right here. It's called the Data Migration Assistant tool. I'm going to explain this later on. This is a very, very important tool that you can use to migrate your databases or move your database from point A to point B. But for today, let's focus on our installation. So click on installation. Once you come here now, it's asking you, what kind of installation do you want to do? Obviously, the first one, we want to do a new SQL standalone installation. If this was a cluster server, it will give us the option of doing a cluster installation, but this is not a cluster, so we are doing a standalone installation. Also, you can, as you can see, you can install your SQL Server reporting services. You can also install some management tools, you can install some data tools. And if you come down here, all the way down here, this is very important because some of you might use it in your various environment. You can upgrade to a previous version of SQL Server. What does that mean? It means that Remember, we are doing SQL 2022. If there's a SQL 2025, right? We can, let's say we had a SQL 20, okay, right now we are doing SQL 2022. Let's say we had SQL 2022 installed on this, and then we're trying to install SQL 2025. That's an upgrade. We can upgrade to that higher version. That is what it simply means by that. So just so you know, that's why I'm going detail here, so you understand. When you click it, you understand what you are doing. All right, so let's go for a new installation. So you click on that, and we wait for it. We're just waiting. So just wait for the operations to kick in. You're just gonna give it some time. Okay, just give it some time for the operation to kick in. So all right. So okay, there you go. So as you can see right here. So now another thing, it's telling us that specify a free edition. Remember, I told you that developer is the free edition, but remember, you cannot use it in production. You cannot use it in anything production. You can use it to develop and test and do things, but you cannot use it in a production environment. So we are good. So for the purpose of this class or the purpose of this, developer edition is just fine. Now, if you were at your job site, you had like a real what's what I'm looking for, and you had like an enterprise or standard edition of SQL Server. You had a key product right here, right? And with that key product, you will also have to choose if it has a license with assurance or just a license only, or both. So that's something that you would discuss with your manager, right? Because if your manager gives you a real task to install SQL Server Enterprise or SQL Server Standard, when it comes here, you make sure you select the right key product, right? Yeah, so that's very important. If you don't know, ask. Hey sir, does this come with license assurance or just the license only? But for this class, we don't need to. It's free, so just click next. Then you have to accept the terms of the license. Obviously, it's just saying that if you read through all this, it's just saying that this is a free, developers a free edition of SQL, and you can use it in production. If you read through it, it tells you what you can and can't do with it. That's us, and you must accept it to move forward. So you just hit next. Okay, so now we have an issue here. They say right here, SQL Server could not reach for update through Windows. Click to continue. That is fine. We don't need an update. Click next. So we don't need an update. So we don't have an issue. So don't worry about it. If you see that, just hit next. That is because our internet is down. You see that right here? We don't have internet. So if you see that message, that's fine. Okay. Interview question, right? What is new, or what is the difference between SQL 2019 and SQL 2022? This right here. During the installation of SQL 2022, you have the option for Azure extension for SQL Server, right? So you have this option. In the previous version, that's 19, 17, 16, you do not have this option. So if somebody asks you like, hey, what's the difference between SQL 2022 and 19? You can simply tell them that, hey, we have the option of Azure extension. But since we don't need that, since we're not doing that, uncheck that box. Once you uncheck the box, just hit next. So uncheck that box and hit next. Once you hit next, this is very important. This is where you need to know what to choose. Obviously, the heart of your database is the database engine. That is where you have the agent. That's where you create the job. So it's impossible to install this without the engine. You have to select the database engine. Now, if you are doing replication in your environment, you click replication. If you are doing, for example, integration services, you select integration services. So it's all gonna depend on what your environment is needed for. If you don't know, ask. if let's say a developer team asks you to install this and you are not really sure what they are using it for, don't be afraid to ask questions. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, now I want us to change the root directory right here. So remember, I said that some companies in the C drive, they don't want you to install anything on your C drive. So you need to install everything on a different drive. If that is the case, so you will need, number one, do not download SQL Server or any installation on the C drive. And if you come here and any installation is redirecting you to the C drive, you change that, right? But for this program, for this course, we are going to leave it on the C drive, but we are just going to take it to a new folder, right? A folder that we call SQL install. So yeah, all we are doing is just changing a folder called SQL install. That's fine. So they hit next. Okay, so just hit next. All right, so now another thing that is very important, another interview question. Here, you want to choose the instance name. So when you say default instance, what does that mean, right? It simply means that this SQL instance that I'm creating on this server, remember, I'm creating a SQL instance on this server right here, this server that I keep calling SQL01. The instance gonna have the same name, which means this SQL instance is gonna be called HDC-SQL01. So it's gonna be default, right? Default name. Now, if I click down here and now I can change the name to whatever I want, right? If I don't want it to be the default name. But in most cases, in most jobs, they just keep it as default. That is why sometimes the server and the instance name, they'll tell you that go to SQL01 or go to SQL01. The server and the instance name are just interchangeable, are just interrelated, even though they are two different things. They serve two purposes, but a job, they'll be like, hey, can you go to SQL01 or can you go to the instance SQL01? They are two different things, but they are called the same, right? But you get used to it, right? You get used to it after a while and you understand the difference. All right, so let's keep it default. Let's go next. Okay, so we go next. All right. Now, this is very important too. Remember, we talked about service accounts. That is where we are going to use those service accounts. Let me talk about this real quick. Collation. Collation right here simply means the language that the SQL is going to be running on. By default, a majority of the time, I would say 99.9, you're going to leave it as this because it's English. But if just in case somebody speaking another language, French or something else, asks you to install SQL and they tell you to change this, you can click here and change it. You can click on customize and you will change that from there. But for the purpose of this class, it's in English. They just leave it as it is. Go back to our service account. Now, another thing that you want to change, you see where it says startup type is manual. Click on that, change it to automatic. Why do you change that to automatic? Very important. It's because if this server for any reason goes down or goes off, right, and it's in manual, it means that somebody has to manually goes in there and bring it back online. You don't want that, right? You don't want to be at home in the middle of the night, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and you get a call that, hey, we need to go or 10 or bring this SQL back online because the jobs are failing because, somebody new or something took it offline, right? So you always want to keep it at automatic. Unless otherwise somebody else instructs you. Maybe there's a specific reason why there's a specific reason, there's a job or there's something going on in that environment that they don't want it to be in automatic. But majority of the times when you are installing SQL, you keep it at automatic. Unless otherwise, again, let's say the developers or somebody else be like, hey, we want it to be manual. Okay. Wow, now let's go to service accounts. Remember, our service accounts, the name of the service accounts is, okay, I'll show you how to find it. Never mind. Just click right here. like I'm doing, go to browse, then right here in that space, just write CVS and click check name. Good. So we see these are the two service accounts that we created to run SQL 01 and SQL 02. Obviously, we are on SQL 01, so we are going to choose this one right here, the first one. Then you click OK, and you click OK. Now, we have changed it from the default SQL account to a named service account, which is what we want, right? That is the best practice. Always change your services account. Do not leave it at default. Once you do that now, put in the password that we gave it. Remember, America, capital A, America 2025. Then you come back here where it says we have done it for the agent, and now we are going to do it for the database engine. We're going to do the same. Go to the drop down, browse, then we can put the CVS. If you know the service account, right? If you know the service account, you don't have to check the name, but just to be sure, if you want to be sure, you do it the way I'm doing. But if you know the exact service account, you can just if you click right here and click, and you see you know this exact service account, you can just write it right here. So you can spell it out just like that right there. You'll be fine. All right. Now let's put in the password again. So America 2025, just like that. Now click next, and it's checking to make sure everything is good. Everything is good, because if there was an issue, let's say if the password was wrong, it could have given us a failed message. So that is a good sign. Now that we are here, this is another very, very important section, right? It's asking you that, okay, what mode of authentication do you want for SQL? I've been a SQL DBA for many, many years, right? I've always seen mixed mode, to be honest with you. I've never seen in my environment, be it production or test or development, where it's just a Windows authentication. So by default, this is the safest mode, right, to always choose. Unless for some reason they say, hey, we just want a SQL authentication mode, we do not want a mixed mode. But by default, right, this is what is chosen. So no, not by default, by what's the word I'm looking for? That is the most used mode that I know that's always been used, because by default you have the Windows authentication, then you have to choose to mix mode. So always choose to mix mode unless otherwise they instruct you different. Once you choose to mix mode, right, as you see, now it's asking you for a password. Hey, give it a password. Remember, your username for your SQL is going to be SA. Do not forget, like sysadmin, SA. Now, let's give it the same password that we have always used. So it's going to be America 2025, capital A. That's the password that we are going to use for all throughout. So it's going to be, again, America 2025, just like that. Then also, you want to add the current user, which probably is you, right? You want somebody to have access to that SQL server. And yes, so always add the current user. And also, please make sure, do not forget this password right here, right? Because if you don't add the current user and you forget this password, then there's no way for anybody to get into that SQL server, right? So hopefully the current user is you. So you add the current user, and also do not forget this, because if you do that, then you won't have access to that SQL server. All right. So now let's go to the data directory. See that? Click on that. Okay. Once you click on this data directory, now all the files and drive that we created, this is where we are going to redirect them, right? Remember, we created all those drives and files. This is where we are going to do that magic right there. So the first place you want to go, where it says user data directory, right? You go all the way to your right, those little three dots, click on that. Once you click on that, you come here. We are looking now for the data drive. You see right here, click on the data drive and select SQL data, and you click here. So it's now saying that this is where all the data files are going to be going, right? It's going to redirect, because before everything was going to the C drive, and we don't want that. We don't want everything to be on the C drive just in case it gets corrupted, just in case something happens, right? Then you lose all your data. So we want to redirect this data to different location. Okay, now we are going to redirect the log file to a different location. And we are going to redirect it to the drive that we created. So log and SQL log right there. You see it? So you click on the log, go to the SQL log, you click OK. Same thing now for the backup, you see? So we're going to do the same thing for the backup. So go to those three dots, go down and look for the backup right there. Then you go to SQL backup, you click OK. Now, as you can see, the data is going to the E/SQL log. Log is going to the L/SQL log. So then the backup is going to the B/SQL backup. So those are the different directories that we created, and they are going to those directories. Now let's go to the temporal DB. If you click on the temp DB, again, by default, it's all going to the C drive. If you look right here, but we don't want that. So click, as it's blue, click on where it says remove. Now click on where it says add. Look for your temp DB here. You see right here, click on the temp DB. Now the temp DB has a temp. So look, if you click on temp DB, it has SQL temp, it has data and log. So click on the data. Once you click on the data, click OK. Once you click on it on the bottom right, you see this is temp DB data. Now it has temp DB log. All you have to do, you just go down there, remove that data and replace it with log, just like that. Remember, we created a log directory, so now it's going to that log directory. If you want to verify that, you can do what we did. You click on that three dots, temp DB and log, and OK, the same directory. All right, now we can check the max DOP. So just to check, let's click on that. Okay, the maximum degree of parallelism is 8. Let me see. That's fine. We can keep it at 8. That's okay. Then memory, okay. Default memory, you will keep it as it is, unless again instructed by your server team. Sometimes the server team create these virtual machines, and they'll be like, oh, we want you to click on this, like the recommended. It'll be like, okay, it should have a maximum of this. So 0, it can be from 0 to like a million. I don't know how much that is, right? They'll give you a range because they don't want it to be consuming all the resources. But if they do not specify, always keep it at default. That is fine. Now click on file stream. You want to configure enable file stream. That is because there are some databases that will be configured or built through this method. So it is always good to enable file stream transaction. Alrighty. So unless otherwise you've been told different, but if not, just configure this. Once you have all this right here, all these settings right here, all you have to do is click next. Once you click next, you click install. Now it's doing the installation. So, and the goal for this installation is to have, or the goal for this installation is to make sure that everything runs smooth and you see a success message right here, like multiple success messages, not just one, right? Because if you see a fail message, then you have to redo the whole thing. You have to troubleshoot and see what happens. And sometimes it is not good because it might mean that one of your files is corrupted, one of your drive is corrupted, and you have to do some troubleshooting that will make you scratch your head. So the prayer is to do it once and do it right. If you do it once, you do it right, everything is smooth. So hopefully we get it right. Hopefully everything goes smooth. Then we are going to have our first big project done, because this is a huge project. Setting up a server like this is a huge project, right? Because once it's up, then you have other teams. You have the finance team, the developer team. Everybody start, building their database on this server and start doing things that they need to do. It doesn't matter if it's a test server or production server. Treat every server just as important, because what they do on those servers is very, very important. All right. So we are waiting and hoping that it goes smooth, right? That's the prayer right there. All right, so it's almost done. It's doing some few touches. As you see right here, the green is almost at the end, so it's just doing some few last checks. And once that is done, then we are going to see some messages pop up here like succeeded, right? Because if anything failed, I could have seen like a red message right here, like some kind of X saying that, you know, something else failed. But for now, we should be good. Everything is looking pretty good. So, all right. And again, please, if I was too fast, you can always go back and rewatch this video, because everything I said is just how you would do an installation on your job site. As you can see, this is what I was saying, right? Everything succeeded. Look at the status. Succeeded. So everything is good. We are good. So all you just have to do is close here and close. And let me see. Don't close here, because that's the server. You're going to close everything and close. Let me drag this. Let me see if I can drag this right a little bit. Oh, close here. All right. So we have installed our first SQL server on SQL 01. But like as you see, you can't find it, right? If you go down here and you Google, if you go to the search bar and you search SQL server, nothing's gonna pop up. Nothing's gonna show up, right? There's nothing showing up. That is because you use SSMS to manage your SQL servers. The only way you are going to see this SQL server is if you install your SSMS, which is what we are going to do next. So let's go back to our software portal on the C drive. So right there, click and software. Now we want to install SSMS. So we right click on it, then run it as administrator. Then say yes. And now what we can do, that's fine. Let's leave it at the C drive for now. Just install at the C drive. Click install. I wanted to change the location of the installation, but that's fine. Again, like I said, some companies, they don't want you installing nothing on their C drive. So if that's the case, just redirect those files to a different location or different drive on your server. Yeah, for the purpose of this training, we have everything. We own all the drives. We own the C drive, the D drive, the F drive. We control everything. So we are fine. Okay, so we are waiting for the installation to complete. And once the installation is complete, then we can now move. Remember, we have one more server to go, right? We have one more installation to go on SQL 02. But with that one, I'm going to go a little bit faster, because I believe you should at least have an idea on what to do already, right? And also with that one, I believe I'll start with the SQL Server Management Studio. I can install that first and we go from there. As you can see, it says close. All right, so that is installed and I close right here. Now, if I go down here, I type SSMS, you see right there, SSMS 20, right? So let me right click and I'll pin to the start bar, right click and pin to the taskbar. All righty. So no, cancel. There you go. So it is right here, this big, beautiful yellow box thingy. So if I click on that box, this is right here, SQL Server Management Studio. You see that? Now it's here. Now, this is the name of the instance I just installed. It's picking it up. You see that right here? So if I click connect, oh no, something happened. It did not connect. There's a message. It says that a connection was established. A connection was successfully established with the server, but an error occur. I know what happened. Let me click X. It is because every time you install a new server, I want to show you this because it's going to happen a lot. Once you install a new server, before you connect for the first time, always click this right here. This one that says trust this certificate. Click that and now click connect. Once you do that, boom, this is the inside of your SQL server. And again, the name of the SQL server is HDC SQL01. You see right there? And the name of the server is HDC SQL01. So they have the same name, and sometimes we interchange them. We talk about the two things as if they are the same, even though they are different. So one is an instance and one is a server. All right. That being said, let me close from here and we go to SQL 02 and do our installation on SQL 02. So let's remote desktop to SQL 02. So right here, click on your RDP. This is SQL 02 and you click connect. And you click connect again. Alrighty, so let's wait. Now you are in or on SQL 02. We are going to do the same thing that we just did on SQL 01, but now on SQL 02, the same process. So let's go to our File Explorer, our beautiful yellow folder. Then we click on this PC. Then we go to the local server and we go to the software location. So let's do it. Let's do this reverse, right? Let's first set up the SSMS. So let me right click on this. Okay, first thing first, right? If I do a search, if I do SSMS, you see it's not coming because I haven't installed it. So you see that? Okay, now let's install the SSMS. Right click, run as administrator. Okay, so we are waiting for it. So we are waiting for it to. Okay. Say, wait, let me cancel this. Right click on this and you say run as administrator. What's that message right there? I've never seen that before. Okay, it says my screen can be reached right now. Check internet connection. Let me see run and see what it says. Okay, and hit yes. Okay. Oh, that's something new. Honestly, I've never seen that before, but I guess that is fine. Okay, let's keep it again on the C drive. Just hit install. Yeah, because that's something new. I thought it had an issue, but everything is fine. So if you see the same pop-up, just say yes. That's fine because it's installing, so there's no issue there. Yeah. So you learn everything. You learn something new every day. All right. So let's wait for the SSMS to install. Because remember, last time we did our SQL Server first. Now we are doing our SSMS first. So the order doesn't matter though. It doesn't matter which order you do. So it doesn't matter if you do it first or you do it second though. But the only difference now is I'll show you something real quick. Once the SSMS is installed, if I go, you will see that it's not going to pick up no SQL Server because I haven't installed a SQL Server yet. So it won't be picking up any SQL Server on this SQL 02. Remember, once we install SSMS on SQL 01, it was able to pick up the instance. Yep, it was like automatic. Okay, so let's wait for it. Let's wait for the progress. Okay. And again, remember, this is things that close, everything was successful. Everything we're doing right now is things that at your job is going to take months and months and months of planning. Remember, you're going to start with the server team to create these servers. Then you're going to create the accounts to run these services. It's not something that you just get up one day and you just do. It takes months and months and months of planning. Then for the day, you execute everything flawlessly. But you have to plan in advance for everything to go smooth. Okay, so now, if I search SSMS, you see that right there. So if I click and I I pin it to the start bar, click, and I pin it to the taskbar. You can see it's right there, under there. If I click on it right now to open up, okay, it's saying that I have this SMS on this computer, but that is false. Why? Because I used to have it, but it's deleted. If I click connect, you see it's going to give me an error message. There's going to be a big error message right there because it does not exist. And remember, I've clicked on trust server certificate. It's because I had it on this server, then I deleted it, and now it's still showing that I have it, but but it's not there. But you get the idea. So it's searching. It's going to search forever. There you go. So this is the message that you're going to see right here. So just click OK, and yeah. So let me cancel. Now let's do the installation. So let's go right here. So we are installing SQL 2022 developer. So click and click again. And now let's go to the setup files right here. Right click and run as administrator, because you are the administrator, and I believe Shiloh T has the administrator privileges. So then, yes, run it, and yes. So we'll wait for this to open up. Okay. All right. Now we are going to do the same thing, right? So we're just doing a repetition of what we did last time. So we are doing installation, then we are doing new server. We already explained everything, the upgrade and everything. So I'm going to move a little bit faster. So I'm doing a brand new installation standalone. You click on that. Once you click on that, you wait for that new window to open up. Okay. Let's just wait for the new window to open up. Okay, so the new window has opened up in the background right here. So again, remember, it's a developer edition. It's free. We don't need no product key. So we hit next. And we have to accept the license, or the terms and conditions of the license. You hit accept, click that box, then hit next. Once you hit next, don't worry about this. We don't have internet, so don't worry about no updates. Just go next. It's doing some checks. Okay, now we don't have Azure. Don't worry about Azure extension, right? Just hit next. Let me go back and show you something real quick. Something I didn't talk about. When it's doing these checks right here, right? If yours fails, right, with the message that you need to restart your computer, because sometimes your computer might be pending like a restart, all you have to do is just go and restart your virtual machine. You come back, you do everything, and it's gonna go. That's something I forgot to mention, which is important. So you might have that issue right here. Okay, so just go next. And then go next again. Then we are going to choose our database engine replication. And we are also going to change this to the C drive. Where's the C drive? Where's my C drive? Where's that C drive? To the install right here. And we click OK. Then we hit next. Then here we are going to keep it default instance. So which means it's going to be called HDC SQL02, just like that. So hit next. Okay, so hit next. Here, we're going to switch this to automatic like we did last time. The collection is going to stay the same. What we are going to do again, we are going to change the savings accounts, right? So go to the drop down, go to browse, and then you can put SVC, check the name. Then we want to use this one right here, the second one, SQL02 account. Click on that. Then click OK. Then come down to the database engine. Go to this drop down right here. Go to browse. Again, search it. Then check the name and do the same thing we just did. Click OK and OK. Now you have both accounts. Now use the password that we have. That is America 2025. Capital A first. America 2025. Then down here, the same thing is going to be America 2025. Just like that. Then we hit next. While we are here, we choose the mixed mode like we did last time. And remember again, for the mixed mode, your username is SA. Give it the same password. Hold on. America 2025. Confirm the password. It's gonna be America 2025. Capital letter first. Then add yourself as the current user. Then now go to the data directory. Once you are in the data directory, you go where it says data, user database, this directory right here, the third one from the top, this one. So you click on that, you go to data, which is E. You select SQL data, you click OK, and then you do the same for the log. So you go to this one right here, click on it, the three dots. You search the log, which is right here. You select SQL log. You click OK. Then you go to the backup directory. You click on those three drops. Look for backup right there. And you select SQL backup. And you click on that. That is done. So we now go to the temp DB, the temporary DB. You click on the temp DB. It's already, this one is blue. So we just click on remove. Then click on add. Now we go to the temp DB that's right here. Then SQL temp DB and data. So you click on it. Remember, we created all these folders. So we're just, adding the folders that we created, during our preparation phase. Then here in the bottom, just cancel that data and turn it to log, just like that. All right. Then we're going to keep the same maxed up for that. And also we're going to keep the same memory as default. Then we also are going to enable the file stream. So once we do that, we hit next and we hit install. So it's running. It's going to take, just like last time, it's going to take some time to configure everything, check to make sure everything is fine, everything is smooth, So yeah. And again, what we want to see, what we are looking for is that success message, right? That everything succeeded, because you don't want to see no fail message. The thing is, you want to see is like succeeded. And once you see that, you're like, okay, we are good to go. I know this was a long class. I know it's pretty long, but again, this is very important because this is what, again, as a SQL DBA, you have to know how to install a SQL server. There's just no way around it. There's some basic things you have to know, the right questions to ask, right? Okay, want to install, what service account is going to run into services? What type of SQL server am I going to be installing, right? All those questions, right? Is it on a new instance, or am I upgrading the SQL server? Things like that you need to know, because once you know, you ask the right questions and people know that you know what you are talking about. So remember, you work with different teams, with different people that sometimes don't have an idea. You have to tell them, okay, this is what I need. This is what I need to succeed in this project, and things like that. Okay, so it's almost there. As you can see, we are almost there. And so far, I haven't seen any issues. I haven't seen nothing that will make me be like, oh my God, we are going to redo the whole thing. So far, so good. So that's a good sign. So far, everything is good. Everything is smooth. Everything is fine. All right. I remember my days in the army, we used to say so smooth, meaning that everything was just so smooth, like everything was going so fine. We used to say when we were marching around the barracks, it's like so smooth. The good old days. All right, all right. So let me see. Okay, we're almost there. Okay, finally, we are there. As you can see, this is what you want to see. Status succeeded, and succeeded. All right. So now you can close out from here. No. Cancel. Woo, I love that. You see, your remote session will be disconnected. Cancel it. You see, I was going to close out, but I clicked the wrong button. Luckily for me, it gave me the option. So this is what I want to close out from. Not this, but this one right here. Because I don't want to close the remote session. So close this. Okay, and now close this. And I also want to close this right here. Let me see. I also want to close this, but for some reason, I'm getting blocked right here. There you go. Okay, I want to close this. Let me see. I'm on. Let me close this. No, cancel. That's open it up. Okay, there you go. You know what? Let's leave it right there for now. Okay, so now everything is good. Everything looks good. So we can verify that. Okay, now we can connect. So if we go back to our SSMS right here, you click on the SSMS, right? You click on it. Then you go to where it says, let me close the SSMS. Let me close it. Okay, let me click on the SSMS. So I open a new SSMS opening up. Now you see, say last time I tried to connect, it was taking forever and it failed. So if I try to connect now, the same name, trust the certificate, boom, I'm inside. You see that? So everything is smooth. Everything was perfect, or everything is perfect. And as you can see, this is it. SQL 02 right here, right? So everything succeeded. Everything is good. And let me demonstrate one more thing that I was talking about so you understand, right? So if I go back, I try to connect, right? So we have a SQL authentication. So if I click here, I use the SQL authentication. Remember, I said the username was SA and the password we gave it was America 2025. If I hit connect, okay, same thing. A connection was established, so I just need to trust this certificate. Trust this certificate, and I hit connect. Now I'm in. It tells me that everything is fine, everything is working. So yes, everybody is happy. Our manager is happy. We can go back and report to them that hey, this project was a success, right? We have installed SQL Server on SQL 01 and SQL 02. Then for the next project or the next class, we are now going to patch this servers. So without talking too much, I'm going to see you during the next class. And I hope you had fun. And I hope, it was enjoyable. I hope it was easy. And I hope my explanation was pretty clear and straightforward. All right. Bye-bye and ciao, ciao. All right.